I'm looking at you, silk and cashmere.
Guilty. Excuse me. One of my absolute favorite quotes of all time goes like this. Look around. All that clutter used to be money. All that money used to be time. How many of us have bought something and brought it home only to immediately regret it? And then that thing just sits there, and every time we look at it, we feel really guilty thinking about the money and the space and the time we wasted purchasing this item. Buyer's remorse is so common, and most of us have experienced it. But one of the great things about minimalism is it helps you be more intentional about almost every aspect of your life, from how you spend your time to how you spend your money. And that's why today I wanted to share this list of 6 things you will always regret buying, because if you can raise your awareness of this topic, you can reduce the chances of making one of these common buyer's remorse causing purchases in the future. Before we get started, please do me a big favor and tap that like button. And if you're willing to open up, I would love it if you would go down to the comment section and share with us what was the last thing that you purchased that gave you a serious case of buyer's remorse. And if you want to know more items that commonly cause buyer's remorse, I'm going to share a blog post down in the description box below with 14 more of the most common buyer's remorse causing items. And let's dive in. Furniture that doesn't fit. Buying the wrong furniture is a big and often very expensive mistake to make, and there are so many reasons why furniture might not fit in your home. It might literally not fit because you didn't take careful measurements before you purchased that item. Or you didn't really stop and think about how that thing was going to look in the space when paired with the rest of the things that you own. Or maybe you went outside your personal style or your comfort zone because you heard that something was really trendy, but then you started to regret it. You can help prevent buyer's remorse when purchasing furniture by thinking carefully about the practicality of that item and how it's going to fit in your home, and taking careful measurements before you buy that thing. And if you're like me, you can even create vision boards or mood boards that will help you visualize how that furniture item will fit with the things that you already own. High maintenance items. If the pain of maintaining something outweighs the joy of owning it, you're gonna regret that purchase.
I'm looking at you, silk and cashmere.
If something says hand wash only, it's an instant no for me. That's also why we don't have rugs in our home, because my husband and I just feel like it's too much trouble to keep clean and maintain. And I have to admit, the echoes make really nice company. Hello? When we bought our dining room table, it was unfinished. So that meant that I had to put on 5 coats of tung oil to make it dinner table ready so that it wouldn't get stained when water or food or anything else spilled on it. And that was a lot of work for me, but it was work that I was willing to put into it because I knew it was a high quality piece that could last a really long time. And so I was okay making that purchase. This table is gonna be well loved, huh?
Just don't want to do it too often.
So do yourself a favor and be realistic about what you are and are not willing to do before you make a purchase that requires a lot of upkeep. Uncomfortable shoes. I cannot tell you how many times I bought a pair of uncomfortable shoes. I knew that they were uncomfortable in the store when I tried them on, but I told myself they're gonna be better once I get them worn in. And guess what? Those shoes were never ever comfortable. Either they were pinching my toes, or they gave me blisters, or they made my ankles bleed, or they were just darn uncomfortable to walk in. If shoes don't feel good in the store, it's probably not going to be worth the expense and the pain that you're going to go through trying to wear those things in if they ever get worn in. So do yourself a favor and buy comfortable shoes from now on. Fantasy self clothes. Have you ever bought clothes that were a size or two too small, but you told yourself that they were going to look amazing on you because you were going to lose 10 pounds or 5 pounds? Guilty! Guilty! Excuse me. Or maybe you didn't feel comfortable in a particular piece because it was outside of your normal style, but then you felt like trying something new. If so, you have fallen victim to the dreaded fantasy self trap. If you want to know more about fantasy self clutter, I will link a video up here where I do a deep dive into this topic and share 10 common fantasy self items. But basically, a fantasy self is an aspirational or idealized image of the you that you want to be. But when you buy fantasy self clothing, it's almost always going to cause regret because you aren't shopping for your real, authentic self. So make sure that when you do make a purchase, you stay true to YOU. The next item on this list is contentious items. Contentious items are items that cause friction in a relationship between you and someone else in your household. If you're married or living with a partner or a loved one, there are times when you have to come together to make a decision about if you want to buy something or not. But sometimes you and the other party don't exactly see eye to eye. In fact, it's often big ticket items like cars and new homes that cause the most serious cases of buyer's remorse. Part of being in a relationship means compromise, and if one party or the other feels like they got screwed over or that your financial future is in danger because of a purchase, that's not exactly a winning scenario. Maybe what your husband sees as a great deal on a fixer-upper house seems like a total nightmare headache to you, and you want something that's move-in ready. If something is causing more anxiety and stress than it has potential benefits, it's probably better to just walk away and find something that you can come together and agree on. And that brings us to the final item on this list, which is impulse buys. Impulse buys happen on the spur of the moment anytime you make an unplanned purchase. You see something that you didn't know you needed until you spotted that exact thing. But once you see it, you just have to have it. And impulse buys happen to everyone. I literally just did an entire video on impulse buys. I know all the tricks, all the tips, all the strategies, and yet I still made an impulsive buy. If you are interested to know what it was that I impulse bought the other day, make sure that you go down and hit the little red subscribe button to subscribe to my channel. And when you do, ding the bell to turn on all notifications, because in next week's video, I'm going to be talking all about that impulse buy and what went wrong. And then I'm going to compare it to a very different shopping experience where I went into it with good minimalist shopping habits with zero buyer's remorse. And if you want to know more about impulse spending or what I do or don't buy as a minimalist, make sure to go check out one of these videos, and I'll see you again next week. Until then, take care. Bye-bye.